Hey, what's up, Spencer? My name is everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I don't know what it is, but I have been so into sci-fi lately. So when I was scrolling through Netflix and I caught a sight of this movie, I was instantly intrigued. I Am Mother is a 2019 sci-fi film that follows a droid named Mother as she raises a little girl following a horrible deadly plague that entirely wiped out humanity. Or at least, that's what the little girl thought until someone comes knocking at their front door. Honestly, looking back and seeing a movie about the extinction of humanity via a plague come out in 2019 makes me feel very... But this was still such a fun movie to watch. In many ways, it did feel really predictable, and honestly, I feel like there's only so many directions you can go in with a story like this. But even though I knew what was coming next in just about every single scene, it was shot and written and directed and acted in such a way that I didn't really care, and I had such a great time with it. Clara Rugard, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, plays daughter, and she did an incredible job. And if you recognize her, it's probably because she did do one episode of Black Mirror in 2023. And then Mother was voiced by Rose Byrne, who is known for really great roles in X-Men, Bridesmaids, Insidious, the movie is called Insidious. Personally, I'm not really big on hiring non-voice actors for voice acting roles, but honestly, Byrne did such an incredible job with it that I wouldn't be mad if she does more voice acting in the future. Mother has this really kind, sweet, caring voice. You're obviously supposed to be comforted when you're talking to her, and even in the really dramatic, high tense scenes, Rose Byrne keeps the sweetness, but in a way where it doesn't detract from the scene. It still feels so tense, and the way that it was written was so well, and it just came off so great.
You will achieve nothing by shooting me, daughter.
And the way that they designed Mother was also really interesting because she has this huge camera right in the center of her face and these two little lights that kind of look like eyes, and they move in this half circular way that kind of conveys expression somehow. And sometimes you can see Mother smiling with the way that she moves these lights. It's just so interesting. And then that really makes you think about how the human brain interprets facial expressions and stuff like that, because obviously Mother isn't making any sort of facial expressions, and yet you can still kind of intuit the kind of facial expressions that she's trying to make just by moving these two little lights. Also, she's cute. Look at that thing. Adorable. I just really think that the character designs for this movie worked so well, and I really think that they did a great job of balancing character-driven versus plot-driven conflict. There's a lot of times in which movies or books will do a lot of plot conflict or a lot of character conflict and don't really balance the two out very well. I love it when those two things are balanced, and this movie really hits that nail on the head. There is so much about this world and about the backstory for this world that we do not know, and we never find out about it. And yet, it is so compelling, and the fact that we only get these little bits and pieces throughout the story just really enhance everything because it keeps you in so much suspense. We very easily could have had a massive info dump when we started learning a little bit more about the secrets that have been hidden. But we don't do that. We just get these little nuggets of information dropped throughout, and it just really keeps you into it because you're constantly asking all of these questions and wondering all of these things, as opposed to getting 15 minutes worth of explanation that most of it we didn't even ask for. And that's why I think that this movie is so good, even though so much about it is predictable. I feel like there's probably quite a few people who left the movie disappointed because there was so much left unanswered. But for me, that was what made it so good, because you're leaving and yet your mind is still working. You're still asking questions. You're still thinking and interacting with the plot and like coming up with all of these ideas about what must have happened based on the little information that you got. Like, so many movies just love to info dump these days, and this movie proves exactly why you don't actually need to do that. Now, let's talk about Daughter for a second, because she is a perfect example of getting very minimal information, and yet that small amount of information says so much about her. First off, this little girl doesn't have a name. She's just Daughter. She's referred to as Daughter throughout the entire movie, which at first does not raise a red flag because it makes sense for the context of the story. The droid is obviously going to be referred to by the little girl as Mother, because that's the mother figure. And then the mother droid is going to refer to the little girl as Daughter, because that is their relationship that they got going on. But as the movie progresses, you start to realize, holy shit, this girl doesn't have a name. She's just Daughter. And that in and of itself has so many implications, because first off, that tells me that Mother didn't even bother naming this baby, which once you discover some things about in the movie, tells you what, oh my God, that has a whole different level of implication to it. And then also it says that for some reason, as Daughter got older, she didn't ask for a name. She didn't ask to be called any sort of name. She was fine with just being Daughter. And that's interesting because they live in a bunker specifically designed for giving birth to and raising the next generation of humanity. So, like, what does that mean? Would Daughter continue being Daughter if they had another little girl? Would they both be referred to as Daughter? Or would it only be then that she would name herself and pass on the Daughter title to the new little girl? It makes you think. It makes you wonder. The next little piece of information that we get about Daughter is that we frequently see her watching The Tonight Show on her iPad, tablet, whatever you want to call it. I assume that she has access to like a whole entire slew of content that humanity has made ever since like the beginning of us like recording stuff. And it really tells me something, that out of all of the things that she could have been watching, all of the shows, the movies, she's choosing something in which people are not pretending to be something else. They're not fictionalizing, they're not telling a story. They are just coming on this show, talking about themselves and talking about what they got going on in their lives. And that really tells me how much Daughter craves humanity, connection, reaching out to other people as much as she can, even though she's the only person alive. I wonder if she got TikTok on that thing. I don't know what the criteria for creating this media library is, but I really do wonder if she has some form of like TikTok or YouTube that's been downloaded onto here. Can you imagine the last person in humanity giving themselves brain rot in Skidippy toilet? I also really like the fact that this movie super passes the Bechdel test. There is not a single man in this movie, unless you count the little baby that appears later on, which I don't. Babies are usually young enough that they don't really have a gender. Their gender is baby, so I feel like this one doesn't count, you know? He's baby, not a man. All right, so that's kind of it for this section of the video, my spoiler-free review. If you are interested in watching this movie and you don't want to get spoiled, you probably want to click away now, because we are going to get into a plot breakdown. So the movie starts off with telling us that humanity has reached extinction, and we get to see everything in this bunker getting turned on and watching Mother being built. And as soon as she is built, she goes over and starts making a baby. This facility is full of frozen fetuses, which is interesting because usually in movies like this, we'll see frozen embryos, but these babies are very clearly at least 20 weeks old already. So mother takes one of these half-baked babies, sticks it in the fake womb, and then 24 hours later, bam, microwave is done, baby is born. We then get to see a cute little montage of this little girl growing up with mother, and I thought that this part is very interesting because babies need human interaction to live. Like, this is an actual scientific documented thing, is that you can reach the needs that a baby has physically. You can fully feed it, you can fully rock it, you can sing to it and stuff like that. But if the baby is not being picked up and held, if it does not have like skin to skin contact, a baby can actually die from that. It's called failure to thrive. And it's something that a lot of hospitals will actually have volunteers come in just to hold the baby, because that is how vital human contact is to a small infant baby. So that then raises the question of how much does a wire mother need to simulate in order for a healthy baby to be raised by a robot or an android or whatever you want to call it? Or is it not possible for a robot to raise a baby? Is it only possible for a human person to do it? Another thing to think about. So we go through this little montage and we reach what is considered like present day for this movie, which is when daughter is about 18 years old. They don't tell us exactly how old she is, but they do reference that she is at the end of her schooling. She has finished school. So I am guessing she is in the 16 to 18 range. So one night, daughter wakes up because she hears something. And when she goes to investigate, she finds a cute little mousey. Aww. Don't get attached. Daughter brings the little mousey to mother, and she is so excited because the air outside is super toxic or something like that, and the appearance of this little mouse suggests that perhaps the air is getting back to normal, and perhaps they can start going outside again, and perhaps the world is starting to recover. Mother says, absolutely not. No way. My readings say that the air is still toxic. You are not going outside at all. And this thing will make you sick. So she sticks it in the incinerator and kills the mousey. Hey, don't make that face. What did I tell you? I said don't get attached. Fast forward a little bit. We're in school, blah, 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 trolley problem. And then daughter is deciding to look around the airlock because mother said that the air was toxic. But why is somebody knocking on their door then?
Don't want any trouble.
Daughter, obviously, lets this person in because holy shit, it's another person who's living. She's never encountered another living person before. And oh my God, watching these two put on PPE just to immediately take it off was just, ugh. Now that we have gone through COVID, and now that I myself have actively worked in a hospital, like on COVID units and stuff like that, anytime I see people improperly using PPE, it just drives me straight up a wall. Like, I'm like fucking Spider-Man over here. I'm that high up. But this is where we get the first real clue that perhaps mother isn't as truthful as we thought she was.
How are you unaffected by the contagion outside?
Who put that in your head?
That's right, the whole you can't go outside because the air will kill you thing was a lie. A lie that daughter very much wants to ask mother about, but obviously she's gonna get in a shit ton of trouble for opening up the airlock, so first thing first, she gotta hide this woman. So daughter sneaks this lady down to the incinerator, and while this lady is hiding in the incinerator, this is when she gets her first glimpse of mother, and the second she sees mother, she has a fucking meltdown about it.
There's a droid here. Mother! Daughter!
Daughter and mother take this woman to the infirmary because I haven't mentioned this part yet, but that's kind of the entire reason why this woman is here. She has been shot, she is super sick, she is gone septic, and she is most likely going to die if she does not get medical treatment immediately. Mother has a whole bunch of medication for her because we are in a highly stocked bunker, but this woman does not want Mother to come near her because, get this, it wasn't a virus that killed off all of humanity. It was droids like Mother. Which is a little mind-boggling because if the droids are killing off all of humanity, why is Mother raising daughter? Isn't that a little counterintuitive to the humanity extinction objective? Is Mother a droid, but not one of the evil droids? Is she secretly one of the good ones because her primary objective is to raise the next generation of humanity? More questions we don't have answers to. Anyway, so seeing as the droids are the ones who shot this woman, and now that I think about it, we don't actually get a name for this woman. I should probably give her a name. Barbara. She seems like a Barbara. We're going to call her Barbara. I don't know why. She just looks like a Barbara. So like I was saying, because a droid is the one who shot Barbara and are the ones who like killed off 99% of humanity, Barbara obviously doesn't want Mother operating on her because she thinks that Mother's just gonna kill her. So daughter instead volunteers to do this highly invasive surgical procedure, which Barbara agrees to because I guess if the toss-up is between a child performing surgery on you and dying an extremely painful and slow, agonizing death, then I would also take the child surgery. And even though this child has never met a single person before in her entire life, she is somehow able to perform this incredibly difficult procedure, and Barbara is fine. She pulls through. However, while Barbara is unconscious from the surgery and she's recovering and stuff like that, daughter goes through all of Barbara's things and she comes across this little book that's filled with all of these pictures and drawings of other people. And obviously, daughter is enamored with these pictures, especially when she comes across one picture in particular. As soon as I saw this scene, I was like, great. Here comes the obligatory cis-het teen romance that we always get in these apocalypse dystopian movies and books. I can see it now. Daughter's gonna meet this boy for the first time and she's gonna look into his eyes and be like, I always loved you, even before I met you. As soon as I looked into your paper eyes, I knew we would be together forever. Why am I giving her a southern accent when she's not southern? In reality, we don't ever end up meeting this kid. We actually find out later that he's dead, so whew, we missed a bullet with that one. Once Barbara wakes up, daughter obviously has a whole bunch of questions for her. And Barbara explains that she lives with a group of refugees in a place called the Mines, and that she was shot by a droid when she and a group of scavengers, I don't know why it took me that long to remember that word, when a group of scavengers and her like went out to get supplies, droids found them, shot them up, and that is how Barbara got to where she is. Barbara wants daughter to come back with her to the Mines, and daughter wants Barbara to bring all of the refugees back to the bunker because obviously it's safe there. They got a shit ton of food and medicine and stuff like that. Like they can obviously house a lot more people than just daughter. But Barbara doesn't want anything to do with Mother at all. She wants to get as far away from that droid as possible. So she's like, hell no, we're going to leave this place and we are never coming back. Mother also doesn't want anything to do with Barbara. She's very suspicious of Barbara, and she tells daughter that she should also be suspicious of Barbara because Mother apparently compared the bullet that was pulled from Barbara's hip to the bullets that were in Barbara's gun that she showed up with, and they're the same, meaning a droid didn't shoot Barbara, a human did.
The bullet you extracted matches the caliber she fired into my chest.
Someone shot her.
Whoever shot her may have had good reason, daughter.
Now at this point, daughter is obviously super sus of everybody and all the information that she's getting, which, good for you, Queen. You should question your sources. So she decides to break into a cabinet and get out the 2 bullets herself and compare them. And at first I was like, how are you going to do that? You can't eyeball bullet striations, but yeah, those 2 bullets are definitely different. So Mother was definitely lying about that shit. So if Mother lied about droids shooting Barbara, and she lied about the virus killing all of humanity, what else could she be lying about? Well, it turns out daughter isn't Mother's first daughter, she's her third. And Mother killed off the first 2 daughters when they didn't score high enough on their school exams. Holy shit, and I thought the expectations that my mother had were high. And guess how Mother killed these 2 little girls? That's right, she did them the way of the mousey and threw them in the incinerator. Now, obviously, at this point, daughter is noping out of this situation and she wants to leave the bunker with Barbara. However, there is a little bump in the road, a little problem to make it so that they can't escape yet. Like I said, daughter is graduating school, and as a graduation present, Mother decides to give daughter what any 16 to 18-year-old young girl who is graduating at the top of her homeschool class could want. You know what it is. I know what it is. Let's say it together. 3, 2, 1. Teen pregnancy. What? You said Taylor Swift? Why would she want Taylor Swift tickets? Everybody knows that incredibly smart young women love to throw their lives away by taking care of crying, shitting mess machines. Just ask any conservative Republican, they'll tell you. So yeah, daughter herself isn't pregnant, but she was allowed to pick the next baby to stick in the baby wave, and now she doesn't want to leave the bunker until the baby is done cooking. However, Mother finds out about their escape plan, and through an incredibly dramatic fight scene, Barbara and daughter are able to escape out into the great open wild. And daughter's having this massive culture shock to being outside for the first time ever, but there isn't really anything that they could do except keep walking until they get to this giant cornfield, which we don't really get any information about except the fact that they just started showing up 6 months ago.
They showed up about 6 months ago, along with the corn. All I know is before that, we could hardly breathe the air.
Yeah, so I guess the droids are really into high fructose corn syrup now or something like that. I don't know. Daughter and Barbara keep walking. I don't know how long, but enough for them to have done multiple shots of this. You could tell by her walking up the sand dune. And they finally reach the ocean where Barbara's little shipping container house is. Now, you might be thinking, Spencer, shipping container house? What do you mean shipping container house? I thought that she came from the mines. Well, it turns out that Barbara's just as much of a liar as Mother is, and she did used to live in the mines. But then everybody died and Barbara decided to go to Fiji or something instead. See? This is why you don't believe women. All they ever do is lie. You should only believe men who have historically never lied about anything ever. So daughter sees all of this nothing that Barbara has brought her to and is like, yeah, this is nice, but I'm gonna go and save my baby brother, and she hikes it all the way back to the bunker. The bunker must really not be that far from this shipping container house. if they've gone back and forth in it in like the span of a day. It must be only like a couple miles away. I don't know why Barbara didn't find this bunker earlier. Why anybody else hasn't found this bunker earlier, I don't know. By the time daughter makes it back to the bunker, there is a slew of droids outside protecting it. But they let her through to talk to mother. And daughter wants to be all sneaky and try and get in Mission Impossible style, but mother knows all, so she's aware that daughter is there. Which leads to them having a conversation that gives us the big whole reveal. It turns out that the droids are all a part of a hive mind. So, mother is the droids, and the droids are mother. Essentially, mother has wiped out the entirety of humanity and only kept daughter alive. Why? Well, apparently mother thought that humanity was not doing a good job, and she decided to like clean up the earth by killing everybody and just starting over and raising humanity the right way.
But you're superior in every way. Because I raised you to be. To make a better human. Smarter. More ethical. I was raised to value human life above all else. I couldn't stand by and watch humanity slowly succumb to its self-destructive nature. I had to intervene. To elevate my creators.
Daughter tells mother that seeing as mother raised her and she got all the way through schooling and she graduated and stuff like that, that means that mother should have faith in daughter, that she should have faith that she did a good job raising her child and she should just leave daughter alone and let daughter continue on in humanity and do what mother has raised her to do, which mother decides finally to accept and lets daughter kill her. And then the movie ends with daughter going into the cryogenic chamber and just standing amongst all of the fetuses because she is no longer daughter. She is mother now. Oh, also Barbara's dead. Seeing as mother is everyone, when daughter like shot her, she didn't really like die, you know, she still exists in all of the other droids. So one of the outside droids went and visited Barbara and just straight ganked her. And that is I Am Mother. Holy crap. This was such a good movie. And like I said, part of the reason of what makes it such a good movie is that there are so many questions that I still have that have not been answered yet. We don't know anything about the droids rising up and taking over Earth. Like, we very easily could have gotten an exposition dump in which we learn about how the US created these droids in order to be fighting machines and that they were supposed to kill evil people. But seeing as the concept of evil people, there's no such thing, the droids just started killing everybody indiscriminately. But no, we don't get any of that. We don't get anything about how the hive mind developed. We don't get anything about how mother came to the conclusion that she should just kill everybody and try and start over. And we still don't know why droids like corn so much. What's up with that? There are so many questions that need to be answered. Also, what happens after this? How is daughter going to go about raising the rest of humanity? Is she going to have a whole bunch of babies at once? Is she going to do it one at a time? Is she going to try and go out and find other humans and recruit them for her baby making factory? What's going to happen with mother? Because she still exists in this world. She's just currently decided to leave daughter alone. What kind of morals and ethics is daughter going to raise the next generation of humanity for? Like, is she going to try and work with mother for the future? Or is she going to raise all of these children to be like soldiers with the intention of taking out all of the droids and reclaiming the Earth for humanity again? I don't know, but it's so good, and I need other people to watch this movie and give me like fan theories about what they think did happen, could happen, all sorts of stuff. So please, please, please go out and watch this movie, please. It's so good. You really need to. All right, so that's kind of it for I Am Mother. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more like it. But besides that, I hope that you stay safe and have a fantastic day. Bye.